Hello, hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Backstage Spotlight. Today's exciting because we've actually had Abbie on before, so I guess you're going to have to go watch that back if you haven't already. How are you, Abbie?
I'm really good, thanks. Yeah, really good. Excited to be
Good.
back.
I'm so happy to have you back on because a lot has gone on since the last episode, and your hair is looking fresh. I just said this off camera.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, fresh new hair. I'm gonna have to go back and look at how dark my hair was the last time we did this now.
Oh my goodness, yes. So would you like to tell us like what you're currently doing at the moment?
So at the moment, I am in Cruel Intentions, the UK tour. I'm playing Annette Hargrove. I can't remember when we spoke last time. Was I doing Cruel Intentions last time? I
It was
actually,
the day after. This is what I remember from our last one. It was the day after the What's on Stage Awards that you hosted the red carpet on. So that's when it
was
was.
it?
So like over a year.
Right, okay. Yeah, about a year ago about now. I think it was like last Feb that I did that. So yeah, I would have been
Yeah.
in Cruel Intentions at the other Palace last time we spoke.
Yeah,
So yeah, so now I'm doing it on tour.
incredible. First of all, let's go back to the other Palace run. How was that as a whole, the run, and how did you feel when it came to an end? Because you were there for quite a bit.
Yeah, we were there for 6 months. It's lovely actually to kind of reflect back on that now. I guess when we spoke last time, I would have had no idea this sort of whirlwind that was about to happen. We'd only just opened when we spoke last. It was an absolute, it was a whirlwind experience. It just all happened so fast. I mean, I booked the job and then, kind of started rehearsals within about 2 or 3 weeks. So it was, my life just changed instantly. And I don't think at the time I'd really registered what that was going to mean or what that was going to feel like. And I actually didn't process it closing at all. It's really odd. I went straight on and did another very, very short run of a show straight after it finished. I think I had about 2 days and then went straight on to something else in my brain. I was like, yeah, on to the next, woo. Like, and then about maybe 2, 3 months later, my life had settled down. I was having like a nice chill summer, and I looked back at my camera roll and I just burst into tears. And it's like I hadn't mourned it at all. Like I just moved on, and I was like, great, what a fun experience. On to the next. And I don't think I'd realized how much it meant to me. So I kind of had like maybe about 2, 3 months went by that I really didn't process it. Because that job did mean a lot to me. And that's probably one of the reasons I wanted to come back to it as well, because being my professional debut, I learned so much and I grew so much as a person on it. So I kind of feel like it really does have a special place in my heart, which is why it's so lovely to revisit it now.
Definitely. So you said that that was your professional debut, which we all know. What did you learn in those 6 months that you had no idea that you would know, if that makes sense? Like something like a
Yeah.
spark.
Yeah, I think the main one is self belief. I don't think I realized how capable I was. I had major imposter syndrome going into the job, throughout the job, still now, but I think I've kind of got a better mentality with it now. Um, because I hadn't trained. I was going into this job untrained. It was my first ever professional job. And I think I just didn't realize how capable I actually was. I didn't know that I could do these 8 show weeks. I didn't know that my voice was going to be able to sustain a 6 month contract. So I think just learning that I actually was capable of it was a really important lesson. And yeah, dealing with imposter syndrome was a huge part of that.
Mm.
I think it never goes away. I think actors will talk about it throughout their career, and I think you can be a month into your career or 20 years into your career, and I still think everyone experiences imposter syndrome in a very different way. Um, but that was definitely something that I battled with last year. Um, yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to think what else I learned on the job. A lot of it, I think the lovely thing was that a lot of it just felt like it came very naturally.
Nice.
It felt like it was the right time for it to happen.
Yeah.
Um, so that was lovely.
Very nice. A common theme that I've been asking my guests in the past few podcasts that I've had is how would you maintain your vocal and physical health in a time of perhaps illness for those 8 show weeks? Because it's intense.
It really is. I feel like our bodies, have to stay so healthy. You know, they are this like vessel that we have to just constantly look after and be like, don't get ill, don't get ill. In most people's jobs, if you have a little bit of a cold, it's like, oh, I could probably still go into work. But it's surprising how much as actors that really affects us, even just like affecting your speaking voice, and if your body feels tired and run down. I definitely think prioritizing rest is very important. That was definitely something that I learned last year. Like, I'm really bad at stopping. I think you're quite similar to me in this, in that you're always on the go. Yeah, yeah, I know. But it's so hard to accept that rest is just as important as everything else, because I've always felt very guilty, or like I was being lazy if I had a day where I just did nothing. I think last year I realized that actually that is so important for my body to just actually reset.
Yeah.
But in terms of like looking after vocal health, I mean, my track in the show was never like the craziest thing. You know, we're not talking like I watch a lot of Mary Kate Morrissey, is it? She just played Elphaba on Broadway, and she does loads of vocal health videos on TikTok. Like, playing Elphaba is another beast, you know. But I think for me, drinking lots,
Yeah.
taking all the vitamins. I feel like echinacea as well. That's one I've been on at the moment. I'm
Ooh.
popping echinacea like tomorrow. It's like this it's like a herbal I think it's made from daisies. It's like a herbal cold and flu remedy thing. And
Oh,
I've heard so many people swear by it. So every morning now I'm like, get the echinacea down me. I do not want to get ill, especially this time of year when the weather's a little bit colder. Um, but yeah, I think also it's about prioritizing doing other things that you enjoy as well. I think keeping your mental health in a good condition is very important for a job as well, to be in the right headspace to just sort of step into a character. So actually remembering to prioritize socializing with people and doing things that you enjoy as well. I feel like it's so easy as an actor to just become consumed by the job that you do and do nothing else. So I feel like having balance is important.
definitely. So for you personally, you've got your performing and you've got all your social media, the events side of your platform, so to speak. So they're both very enjoyable things. So you kind of feel like you're not working. What are the other things that you do that are real downtime that don't link to any of this?
I take on about a million hobbies under the sun, and they usually last for a couple months, and then we start a new one.
Yeah.
I'm not I'm not sure I've got any really on the go at the moment, but like, you know, over the years that I've like taken up like roller skating, or I'll like start a new sort of like art project, or there's just so many things that I end up picking up.
Yeah.
Um, I think getting outside is one thing I'm really trying to do at the moment, because especially because you spend most of your time in dark theatre. Yeah, gorgeous, isn't it? Maybe I'm just saying that because it's gorgeous and sunny today.
Yeah.
If it was any other day, I'd be like, no. Yeah, getting out. This is something as well on tour. You do have, you know, a fair bit of downtime in places that you've never been before. So I've kind of been doing a lot of exploring. Like, we were in York a few weeks ago,
Oh,
and you know, I didn't have to be in. Is it?
yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, good. Well, we were in York, and I wasn't in until I think 6 p.m. on, because on our Thursdays we only have one show in the evening. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna take myself on a little solo day out, and I just went and I did loads of exploring. I went and found some good food that I wanted to eat,
Nice.
like enjoyed the sunshine, went on a nice walk. That is, I think, really, I think that's been the thing that's been getting me through tour life, because tour life is so crazy and it's so on the go. Just doing little things for me, bits of exploring, finding places for good food. Typically, you know, I like going to see lots of theatre, as much theatre as I can, even though it's kind of what my life is surrounded by. I just love going and seeing new shows. But that's really difficult when you're on a contract, because you're in a show, so it's hard to go and see shows. So I haven't been able to do that as much, but that would usually be what I would do for my downtime.
Yeah, nice. What did you think of York?
It was beautiful. It was so nice. I was looking forward to going anyway, because it's the kind of place that I would take a trip to anyway.
Yeah, it's like, I
Yeah, it was great. What? Pardon?
feel like it's on the same level as Bath. Like it's one of those cities that you
Yes.
go to.
Yeah, and we're going to Bath as well, so I'm really excited for that.
Nice.
Um, but yeah, no, York was lovely. I walked the city walls. I did the Minster.
Oh,
Did the shambles. Yeah, it was lovely. I was like a little tourist for the week actually. I kind of forgot that I was I kind of forget I'm working sometimes because I
yeah,
think because I love it so much, I sort of forget, oh no, this is actually my job. I'm getting paid to do this.
mad. So good though. So talk to us about tour life. How have you found it so far?
Touring is this is my first time touring.
Yeah.
So it was always going to be a bit of a crazy experience. I've actually found it really great so far. I think I'm a very organized person though. I think I've had all my digs completely booked, all my travel is sorted.
That's me as
So
well.
like yeah. So I think I've kind of done everything I can to make it easier for myself. And I've also made sure to prioritize booking places that I know that I'm going to be comfortable in because there's nothing worse than staying somewhere and just not feeling like very comfortable.
You need.
Um, so yeah, so actually so far I've really surprised myself how much I'm enjoying touring because I wasn't sure how I was going to find it. I struggle being away from home. I struggle with change and new places. So I did think, it could be interesting, but actually it's been really freeing. It's quite nice to kind of just like let everything go that I would usually, my routine. I basically have to just let my routine go. Um, so yeah, and also we're visiting some really cool places, which is always fun. And I'm doing it with such a lovely bunch of people, so that is, that always helps.
So nice. What has been your favorite location so far, and what location are you most excited to visit next?
Oh, favorite one so far, probably York actually. So far, we're only on our fifth or sixth venue, so I've not got too many to go off of yet. So probably York has been my favorite. I think that was the week that I did the most sort of touristy things. And then where am I most looking forward to? Well, we're doing Dublin in a couple of weeks. I'm very excited for that. I feel like that's going to be a really fun week.
Yeah, definitely.
Um, and maybe, yeah, maybe Bath as well. I think places that I would want to visit but haven't. So I'm
Mm.
just going to get the opportunity to just go and explore. But yeah, we've got some great venues coming up. I mean, next week we're in Manchester at the Palace Theatre. And I love Manchester anyway. So, and I've got lots of friends up there. So that's kind of quite nice. I feel like I've kind of been catching up with people that I never get to see because I'm, going to all of these places.
Yeah, that's really nice. Do you have any like on tour tips that you've figured out in the past 5, 6 locations that you've been to? Like, for example, how to pack, stuff to bring?
Yeah, I think one thing I've learned is you don't need as much stuff as you think. I am a notorious overpacker.
Oh, don't you?
Um,
I am too.
yeah, and I'm taking my car on tour with me as well, so I can basically just put as much as I want in my car. So I was like, pack all these big bags, and then as the week's going on, I'm just slowly getting rid of things and going, I didn't use that this week. I can leave that at home, or
Yeah,
like, yeah, I kind of just thought that I was going to need so much stuff. So yeah, surprising how light you can travel. And I think just be organized, be prepared, get your digs booked, sort your travel out because you can just relax and enjoy it more once you've done that.
yeah.
Um, and also don't worry about breaking routine too much. Like it's so hard on tour to do things that you usually do. Like if you have a gym routine or if you usually meal prep, sometimes that does just go out of the window on tour, but that is absolutely fine. Like it is an unconventional lifestyle. I think you just have to give yourself a bit of a break and be like, no, it's okay. If I buy my food out all of this week, that's fine. If that is what gets me through the next week, then that's okay.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, being organized, I think, is something I'm very glad that I did.
Sure. So let's talk about auditions. We might have touched on, yeah, I can't even remember what we spoke about in our first one, but from then to now, so in a year's progression, what do you think you've learned by doing auditions, and what do you now go into an audition thinking, preparation wise? Talk to us about how your journey with auditions has evolved.
Yeah, so it's auditions are a funny one because I think one thing you have to accept is that you never know what the casting directors want. You can go in thinking that you're right for it or you're not right for it, but you just don't know what they're thinking. So I think taking that on board and just going in and just going, this is an opportunity to perform in front of a panel of people, whether you book the job or not. I think just taking it as an opportunity to just show off what you can do. I had a few auditions last year where going into it, I thought, I'm not even sure I'm right for this, but it's an opportunity for a new casting director to see me. And if I do one round and that's it, that's fine. Um, I've still not done, loads of auditions. So I learn something new every time I go. And also every audition experience is so different. You can't compare them. Um, but going in and enjoying it, I think, is the best thing that you can do. I had an amazing audition last year. I did a dance call for six, and it's the most fun I've ever had in an audition. It was just this group of empowered women. It was like a dance class at Pineapple. Like everyone just supported each other. Everyone had a lovely time. No one judged anyone, and we just learned. It was a 3 hour dance call, so it was
Oh,
intense. But
yeah.
everyone was just living their best life, and I came out of it, and I was like, no matter what happens now, whether I get cut, whether I get a recall, that I learned so much in that audition. I've learned a great routine. I've built up some stamina. It was, I think, just going in and trying to enjoy it is probably the best thing you can do. Obviously, some auditions are very hard to enjoy. They're always going to be nerve wracking.
Yeah, definitely.
But I think it's just working out how to channel those nerves. I think that's something that I'm really trying to work on. Is I know that I'm going to be nervous, and I know that my adrenaline will be pumping. So it's now then working out how to channel that, because it's always going to be there. You're never really not going to be nervous for an audition,
Yeah.
no matter how many you do. Because yeah, it's tough. You're competing for your next job, so it's a tough environment. So yeah, and not being too harsh on yourself if you get cut as well, because sometimes it's so out of your control. You could have done the absolute best you could in the room, but you just might not be what they're looking for, and you can never predict that. So I think just not taking it personally as well is important.
Yeah, good advice. I'm just thinking, I haven't sang in front of a panel or with a pianist since college. If I get a call that I've got an audition in a week, I'm gonna, that's terrifying.
It's always the way they spring up on you when you least expect it, and you think, I've not sorted my rep out, I've not got any sheet music, I've not sung in weeks. And do you know what I mean? You just go, and you always probably will be less prepared than you want to be.
Yeah.
I don't think you can ever be really prepared for an audition, because they come through so last minute with such a quick turnaround. You
Specific.
kind of have to embrace
Yeah,
embrace the chaos and the last minute nature of it all.
definitely. So, what is your current pre-show ritual?
Pre-show ritual. I am sort of I'm a girl of routine. I kind of do the same thing every day. I always arrive half an hour. So I arrive half an hour before warm up,
Yeah.
because I'm not the sort of person that can rock up and just walk straight into warm up. I have to have half an hour of just getting mentally ready. I usually do my makeup before warm up because I hate rushing. But as
Yeah.
soon as the half hour call happens, I do not want to feel in a rush at all. Yeah, no, I can't do it. So I usually put on my makeup, do warm up, go back to my dressing room, maybe have a little something to eat. But I don't like to eat too much before a show, because the worst thing is doing a show when you're bloated. Is the worst thing ever. I've done it so many times. Every time I surprise myself, I'm like, why have I done this again? I've had like a full meal. Yeah, you watch, I'll do it tomorrow. I'll have like a massive bowl of pasta, and I'll be like, I wonder why I feel bloated on stage. Um, yeah, I mean, I don't think I have any crazy pre-show rituals. Like, it doesn't take a lot to prepare. Like, we don't have any wigs in the show, so I don't have to go and do that.
Yeah.
My makeup is pretty minimal. It's not like I've got anything crazy going on, like a show like, I don't know, Cats or Starlight.
Yeah.
So it's kind of similar to just sort of getting ready in the morning, doing my hair, doing my makeup, putting on my costume, making sure my water bottle's filled up. I always get to the side of stage at beginners call as well. I'm always there. As soon as beginners is called, I'm there. I like to have 5 minutes at the side of the stage to just be like, I'm here, I'm in the zone. I don't like feeling like I'm just walking straight on. I like to have 5 minutes where I just ground myself a little bit. I think that's really important.
Yeah, nice. What is your favorite part of the show at the moment?
Favorite part of the show? Um, I do enjoy all the stuff that happens off stage, actually. I know that's a bit of a weird answer, but the
Tell
show
us
is so
about
fun. And yeah, well, the songs are so fun. And also, there's not many moments where we're all on stage at the same time. So there's quite a lot of moments where we are all off stage watching each other. And because we have these iconic 90s hits, I mean, we all know all the words, and most of us know all of the choreography as well, it seems. So that's always something that's really fun for me, is like everyone that's performing at the side of the stage. Shout out also to our ASM Megs, because she knows literally all the choreography in the show. I watch her in the wings every night, and I'm like, be careful, Megs, because you will end up going on. We can send her on. She knows it all. So yeah, I do like all of that fun that happens off stage. But favorite moment in the show, I really like Bittersweet Symphony. I think it's one of those moments where like it's so iconic in the film. It's sort of such a simple yet effective number. There's not big choreography, but vocally it's I love it. It's one of my favorite songs in the show. Also, it's such a badass moment. I come on in my little sunglasses and it's one of my favorite bits. Um yeah, so maybe that, or I always say that my favorite song to sing is Torn, because it's just such a great tune.
Yeah.
Yeah, so maybe that as well. Um yeah, there's so many moments in the show that I would love to do that I don't. Like, I watch Bye 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 in the wings every night, and I'm like, I would love to just go on and do that choreo one night. It wouldn't make any sense for me to do that, but it's just so I just love watching everyone have fun. It's really great.
Such a great show in terms of that. Like, you seem like quite close company. It's just songs everyone knows, so it's like uplifting, just great vibes.
Yeah. It really is. And I think the audience can really see that as well. The audience kind of can tell that we're all having fun. I think you can kind of see in a show, like when you know that the cast are close and you feel like they're having fun, it lets the audience in as well. Like, come have fun with us.
That's nice.
Um yeah, it's if you're ever kind of in a bit of a weird mood before a show, like by the end, you're always like, oh, that was, I feel uplifted now. Which is lovely. It's lovely to be doing a job that kind of makes you feel so great by the end of it. It's really special.
Definitely. For the future, what show would you love to do? Like, what show would be like number one on your bucket list?
I keep getting asked, like, literally every time someone interviews me, everyone asks this, and every time I'm like, I'm so bad. I need to actually think of a good answer to this question. The reason that I struggle with this is because last year I didn't know, or the year before, I didn't know that Cruel Intentions was a thing. And then it became my dream. So I feel like there are so many shows out there that I don't know about that will end up becoming a dream role or a dream job. Um, because yeah, I think there are so many shows that haven't even been written yet that might end up becoming the best thing that I ever do. That being said, I'm trying to think of some shows I'd love to do. I just saw that Something Rotten got announced today, actually. That it's coming to the West End in 2026. I love that show. That would be a dream. I'd love to do a show like Mean Girls. I
Yeah.
really like that show. I would be anyone in that show. Like, it's one of those shows where like I just want to be in it. I don't really care who. Like, it's just fun. And what are some other shows? I really love Shrek. I would
Oh,
love to be in Shrek.
what a good
That is, it's one of my like guilty pleasure shows. I'd love to do that.
so good.
And I think I like those sort of like very like big character shows like Beetlejuice. I
Yeah.
like that kind of, yeah, things like that. Shows that I do think I tend to lean towards the kind of brighter comedy, modern kind of movie or jukebox, or just the more modern written shows I think suit me better.
Mm.
But hey, I wouldn't say no to a lovely little legit musical. I'm sure that there are loads that I would love to do, but at the moment that's obviously very different to the roles that I've played so far. So, but who knows? Maybe there's a legit musical in my career in my future.
Who knows? Well, I wanted to ask you where you were when you found out about the Cruel Intentions tour and like how you found out about that.
Oh, the Queen Sessions tour. I don't actually know. I don't actually know. I thought you were going to ask me where I was when I found out I got the job last year. I can tell you that. Um, where was I when I found out about the tour? Well, we kind of vaguely knew that it might have been going on tour when we were at the other palace last year.
Yeah.
There
So
was
you,
always a bit of a rumor. Yeah, but it was never confirmed.
mm,
I don't remember. I think someone might have. I think my nan might have sent me a link to an article for the like what's on stage announcement, and that was it. I don't. Yeah, I'm not sure because
I
I
mean,
can't even remember when it got announced. That's what a terrible answer. I literally have absolutely no idea.
I thought it was going to be like got a phone call, you're screaming.
Well, I'll be completely honest with you. It's one of those things where a show gets announced that it's going on tour, and I didn't know that I was doing the tour until months after that. Um, so
Oh,
I knew it was going on tour, but I didn't know that I was going to be coming back.
yeah,
And
yeah.
you don't want to assume. Do you know what I mean? Because it's the producers. They have sometimes have different visions, or there are sort of reasons why like casts get changed, and so you can never guarantee that you're ever going to get asked back to a job. So yeah, I was very grateful to be asked back, um, and of course with this fantastic new cast as well. So that was obviously a really weird thing to come back to a show that felt so familiar to me, but lots had changed since the other Palace run. I was the only returning cast member. We have this new set, we have a new song in the show, so it kind of feels like a new job in a way. It kind of feels completely new.
That's nice. For a bit of change, I feel like it's quite refreshing.
Yeah, it is really refreshing. I don't think I'd have wanted to just do the exact same thing again. Obviously I had a lot of fun with that, but I'm always craving new things. So it was nice to have something that did feel so familiar, and it kind of felt like home. And I knew I already kind of was very familiar with the lines and the songs, but then to also have all these new elements that kind of made it feel a lot fresher. Yeah, a lot just new things to enjoy, I think. And obviously touring is very different to, being sat in town for 6 months. So that was kind of part of the new experience as well.
Yeah, of course. In the industry as a whole, if you weren't on stage performing, what part of the industry do you think would be the most interesting for you to do?
Oh, oh gosh, that's a great question. I think I'd love to go to the creative side. I think I'd love to try directing.
Yeah.
I always find throughout everything I've done, I sit and observe, and I kind of like you end up kind of like having your own notes in your head and thinking, oh, how would I direct this? And I definitely think I've got the brain for directing. I think I'd love to do that one day.
Nice.
Um, I think even if one day I, maybe started with becoming like a resident director on a job, or that kind of thing, kind of go about it that way. But yeah, maybe on the creative team. Although I'm intrigued about casting. I feel like I'd love to sort of experience what that is like, and step into the brain of a casting director, because it is, I mean, they always call it a bit of a jigsaw puzzle. Um, it's very impressive as well how they manage to bring these casts together. I even think with this job, we've got a cast of people that fit so well together. We all get on so well. And it's very impressive that a casting director kind of manages to pull all of that together. So maybe I'd like to work in casting for a little bit. I think just to be nosy, actually. I'm not even sure whether it's something I'd personally enjoy. I think I just want to be nosy, gain some insight into what they want.
It would be so interesting. That
Yeah.
I never thought about that, but now you say that, I'm intrigued too. And actually, I've got my agents are coming on and doing a podcast, and they do a lot of casting and stuff. So I'll ask them, what that's like fitting the jigsaw together, which would be really, really
Yeah.
interesting to
I
know.
mean, because you don't need any more jobs, though.
No, don't,
I know you're going to be like, Anna, can I come work?
no, don't, because someone commented for reference, for like context for people. I did a TikTok about like all my different jobs, and people have commented like, this is giving Barbie, like all the different Barbie.
Yeah,
Like, why?
yeah.
Why is
It
that?
is that horrible thing that I think when you're a creative, though, it's very easy to just monetize all your hobbies. I think that's what I've always done. Like, I start a new hobby and I'm like, I can monetize this. And
Yeah,
then I end up not having any hobbies because they're all my jobs. So I
I
think
love
sometimes I need to
crochet.
accept that,
Yeah, I love doing crochet, and I'm like, ha, I could sell these, and I'm just
yeah,
like,
you're like, I could start an Etsy page. And it's like, no, maybe it can just be a hobby.
that's so funny. On the same lines as this, what is your time split between content creation and the show? Because obviously the show has like set hours, you do it, you're traveling for like the tours element of it. Then how much time are you spending on the content creation side of it? Does that take a back seat while you're on tour?
To be fair, at the moment, it kind of has, because tour life has been so new and so crazy. But I'm slowly kind of trying to integrate it back in. I think also the thing as well is that my content is really starting to change based on what I'm doing. You know, I'm not in the same position I was 4 years ago when, you know, we were in a lockdown and I had all this time to just make as much content as I wanted. My life is very different and my career is different. So my content kind of shifts to show a lot of what I'm doing on tour. So at the moment, tour is kind of taking up, you know, about 80% of my life at the moment. It is a very busy lifestyle.
Yeah.
But I am starting to find that I have time during the day now, to edit some things and to film some stuff at work. And yeah, but I do find the balance very difficult, especially because my content hasn't always been theatre based. Getting out the sort of skit comedy based content that I used to is harder because that kind of needs its own time. So if I am getting out content at the moment, it's very much based on what I'm doing, like day in the life on tour, or like using like funny sounds with the cast or doing trends with the cast. So that's kind of where my content ends up leaning when I'm in a contract. But what was lovely last year is that for sort of 8 months of the year I was in acting work, and then the other 4 months I kind of had time to really get back to my socials. So I quite like having that balance, I think, of having kind of like half the year doing my acting work and the other half of the year focusing on everything else. Because it's very hard to balance the two. It's yeah, especially I think, you know, because tour life takes you away from in-person opportunities, you know, like press things that happen in London, and so it's harder to kind of to do that kind of thing.
Definitely. I'm going to ask you one more question as we are running out of time. What is your favorite type of content to create?
Oh, do you know what? I really like the impressions. I think that is what brings me the most joy.
Oh, good.
Is either like the X Factor impressions, the movie like British TV impressions. I feel like I might have said the exact same thing last time. I feel like maybe I'm getting deja vu now. I'll have to go back and
Really?
check.
Yeah.
But
So I just remember thinking, was it a Mean Girls one you'd just done or something like that? I can't
oh
remember.
yeah,
Legally
maybe.
Blonde or something like that.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just love it. I love them. They're so fun. I love learning the bits of script from them and doing all these impressions, because also I quote them so much in my daily life that yeah, I do enjoy those. I love making all of my skits. I think like I wouldn't put a bit of content up that I didn't enjoy making. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I think those are the ones that I think I look back, because I look back at some of my old content, and some of it I'm like, oh, I probably wouldn't make that now, or like, you know, it's easy to kind of cringe at yourself from like 5 years ago.
So
But all of my impressions,
I started I started TikTok in lockdown and I had like 100 followers. And if anyone dares to scroll back on my TikTok, it's the most
well, you said that when you shouldn't have said that, because people will now. Everyone scroll right to the bottom of Matilda's page, see what you can find.
the thing is, it's too far for me to go and scroll and delete it all. Like, who has the time
Yeah,
for that?
yeah, no one. Yeah, but that's the thing. I've evolved so much as a person since then. But saying that, my impression videos, no matter when they were posted, I always look back on them and I'm like, love that.
Yeah. Oh, brilliant. Well, Abby, it's been so nice having like a year on catch up. I feel like I should do this with all of my guests. It's so nice.
Every year, it'll be like the Billie Eilish video that she does
Oh,
every
yeah.
year. We'll come back next year and see where I am then.
No, because it's so wholesome going back, like reflecting, seeing how you've evolved, how you've changed. So thank you for agreeing to come back on. It's been really,
No,
really
thanks for having me back. It's been lovely.
great. And to everybody listening, watching, I hope you've enjoyed. Go watch Abby's Day in the Life on tour on TikTok.
And come see us on tour. Come see us.
Yeah, definitely. If have a look at the theatres near you, see if Cruel Intentions musical is coming. And yeah, I hope you have a lovely rest of your tour. And hopefully we'll speak soon.
Thank you. See ya. Bye.